Jesus draws close to the beach and begins to speak. We read in the book of Kings that the Lord ordered Elijah to go to Zarephath of Sidonians during the drought and famine which afflicted the earth for over 3 years. The Lord did not lack means to appease the prophet's hunger in any place, neither did he send him to Zarephath because that town was rich in food. On the contrary, they were already dying of starvation there. Why then did God send Elijah the Tishbite? There was in Zarephath a woman with a righteous heart. She was a widow, a holy living woman, the mother of a boy. She was poor and lonely, yet she never rebelled against the dreadful punishment, neither was she selfish in her hunger, or disobedient. God wanted to benefit her by granting her 3 miracles. 1. For the water she took to the thirsty man, 1 for the little loaf of bread she baked under ashes, when she had only a handful of flour left, 1 for the hospitality she offered the prophet. He gave her bread and oil, the life of her son, and the knowledge of the word of God. You can see that a charitable action not only satisfies the hunger of bodies or removes the grief for a death, but it teaches the soul the wisdom of the Lord. You have given lodgings to the servants of the Lord, and he gives you the word of wisdom. A good deed has brought the word of the Lord to this land, where that word does not come. I can compare you to the only woman in Zarephath who welcomed the prophet. Because if I had gone to town, the rich and mighty people would not have welcomed me, the busy merchants and sailors would have neglected me, and my coming here would have been valueless. I will now leave, and you will say, but what are we, a handful of men? What do we possess? A drop of wisdom. And yet I say to you, I entrust you with the task of announcing the hour of the Redeemer. I leave you repeating the words of Elijah, the prophet, the jar of flour will not run out. The oil will not diminish until one comes who will give it more copiously. You have already done that. Because there are Phoenicians here among you who have come from beyond Mount Carmel. Which means that you have spoken as you were spoken to. You can thus see that the handful of flour and the drop of oil have not run out, but have instead increased in quantity. Continue to make it grow. And if you think that it is strange that God has chosen you for this work, as you do not feel capable of carrying it out, repeat the word of great trust, I will do what you tell me, trusting your word. 3. Master, how are we to deal with the heathens here? We know these people because they are fishermen, like ourselves. We fraternize because we do the same work. But what about the others? Asks a fisherman of Israel. You say that you fraternize because of the same work. Well, then, should the same origin not cause you to fraternize as well? God created both Israelites and Phoenicians. The people of the plain of Saron or of High Judea are not different from the people of this shore. Paradise was made for all the sons of man. And the Son of Man has come to take all men to paradise. The purpose is to attain heaven and give joy to the Father. Meet therefore on the same road and love one another spiritually as you love one another for reasons of your trade. A group of diggers went down into a mine where they knew there were some treasures well hidden in the bowels of the earth. And they began to dig. But the ground was hard and the work laborious. Many became tired, threw away their picks and went away. Some made fun of the foreman and treated him almost as a fool. Some cursed their fate, the work, the ground, the metal, and in a fit of anger they struck the bowels of the earth, tearing the vein into useless tiny bits. And when they saw that they had only caused damage without making any profit, they also went away. Only one remained, the most persevering one. He dealt kindly with the hard layers of the soil to pierce it without damaging anything. He made various tests, he dug and went down deeper. A wonderful valuable vein was at last discovered. The perseverance of the miner was thus rewarded, and with the most pure metal he had found he was able to get many work contracts, a great glory, and many customers, because everybody wanted that metal, which perseverance only was able to find, whereas lazy or angry people had achieved nothing. But once the gold has been found, it must in its turn persevere and be available to be worked on, in order to become beautiful and ready to be used by the goldsmith. If the gold, after being excavated, should refuse to undergo further treatment, however painful it might be, it would remain a coarse metal, unsuitable to be worked on. You can thus see that the first enthusiasm is not enough to be successful, either as apostles, or disciples or believers. It is necessary to persevere. Arimatheus had many companions, and in their first enthusiasm they all promised to come. He only has come. I have many disciples and their number will increase. But only a few of them will persevere until the end. Perseverance. It is the great word for all good things. When you cast the dragnet to catch murex shells, do you do that only once? No. Many times, for hours, for days, for months, and you are willing to go back to the same spot the following year, because your work brings bread and comfort to you and to your families. And would you behave differently for more important things, such as the interests of God and of your souls, if you are believers, your interests and your brothers? If you are disciples, I solemnly tell you that it is necessary to persevere until the end, to extract purple for eternal garments. And now let us stay here as good friends until it is time for us to go back. We shall thus become better acquainted, and it will be easy to recognize one another.